health. And there's going to be a lot of different tools and different things that you can do. So if you've watched any of the other classes in this series, you can go ahead and find them on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So far, we've talked about what are the causes of hormonal imbalances, what you can do with nutrition to support hormonal balance. And now what we're going to be talking about are the different tools that you can actually use to make a difference when it comes to your hormonal health. So if any of you are new to my videos, my name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm an herbalist and nutritionist, and I specialize in natural fertility. I help women prepare for healthy pregnancies, overcome fertility issues, and support themselves, regardless if they're using medical fertility treatments or not. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's class. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will be saving some time at the end to answer them. And if you missed this live, you can go ahead and put them in the comments as well. Hey, Carmen, nice to see you. Excellent. Okay, great. So let's jump right in. So first of all, I'm going to go over real quickly, how does hormonal imbalance happen? We talked about kind of what the symptoms and signs are, but if we understand how it happens, then the tools I'm going to talk about will make a lot more sense, and it'll help you to understand which tools you want to be reaching for. So first of all, stress. Stress is one of the main causes for hormonal imbalances, because when you're stressed out, specific hormones are released. The body reacts to that stress in a different way, and it puts reproduction at the end of the list of what's important. There's a whole cascade of events that can happen when you're having consistent stress and having cortisol in your body consistently. Poor nutrition is another cause of hormonal imbalances. A lot of people are surprised to know that in our modern world, we can have nutritional deficiencies. That can definitely be a part of it. Also, having eating a lot of processed foods and different chemicals in your foods, things like that, can have an effect on your endocrine system. Xenohormones, those are hormones that are coming from outside sources, chemicals that mimic hormones in the body. Those are a major cause of hormonal imbalance. Lifestyle choices. So if you are really sedentary, you have really poor sleep, drinking, smoking, too much sugar, taking drugs, lots of different medications. Medications can affect hormonal balance. Those are some definite causes of that. I just had an alarm go off from my snowshoe. Genetics. There are some reasons that someone could be a little bit more genetically predisposed to hormonal imbalances. Does not mean that you're automatically going to have them, but some families have them in each generation more than others. Body fat, whether having too little body fat or too much body fat, that can have an impact on hormonal balance and hormonal health. If you have a lot of extra body fat cells, that is a place that excess estrogen can be stored. So that just alone in itself can increase that. Whereas if you have low body fat and not enough body fat, ovulation can stop, and the whole cascade of events, you'll end up with lower hormones can occur. And then also menopause. Menopause obviously has an effect on hormonal balance as big changes begin for women with that. So those are the main causes. Now we're going to jump into the different tools and things that you can use. Now, before I jump into these, know that obviously each person is unique. Every person is going to have a different hormonal profile and possible imbalances or ways that they need to be supported. So when I'm talking about these things, first of all, you don't need to do all of them. And there is going to be different solutions based on what the hormonal imbalance is. Someone can have excess estrogen, too much estrogen, and that's causing low progesterone. Someone can have low progesterone, low estrogen, and low testosterone. Someone can have thyroid issues. Someone can have too much estrogen, too much testosterone, but everything else is balanced. So everybody's going to be different in how their hormonal imbalance occurs. The best way to find out about that is to get hormone testing done, or to look at your symptoms and kind of start mapping out and seeing, how's it showing up for you, and helping to support the different systems in that way. Also, the first tool I'm going to talk about is fertility charting. So this is basal body thermometer charting. So this is where you take your temperature every single day at the same time, and then you start to map out a pattern of what that's looking like. I talk about this so much, one, because it is accessible to anyone regardless of your location, and it's totally free as long as you have a thermometer. It's going to be one of those thermometers that you get at the pharmacy. That can take it's not gonna be like a digital forehead thermometer. It's the kind that you can put underneath your tongue, and you need to do it at the same time every day so that your body temperature is, it's the same time. So it has the same temperature. The reason I like this so much is there's so many things that you can learn. So if you start fertility charting and you start charting your cycle every single day, you're going to start to see patterns emerge. You're going to start to be able to see if you're ovulating, when you ovulated, if your progesterone levels are rising, if there's a possible thyroid issue, if your luteal phase, the period of time for implantation is long enough, all these different things. So you know where your baseline is, and then you start taking these steps to help to support your hormones and your fertility. You can start to see changes in your chart, so you'll begin to know if things are working for you or not. It's a great way to get feedback from your body. It's also a great way to time baby making sex because a lot of people are just going by twinges, or they're going by desire, these different things. And if timing's off, we've just kind of wasted a cycle. So my number one tool for hormonal health is to know your body, and fertility charting is a really great way to do that. Another tool that I love, we talked about this yesterday, is fertility cleansing. Helping to support the liver is a major part of helping hormonal health. Also diet. Diet is a big factor. You can go in and watch the video. I went into great detail on specific nutrients for hormonal health. Now the next is going to be supplements. So there's a lot of different supplements that can help your body and hormonal health in different ways. There's the foundational ones, such as a multivitamin, making sure you have all your bases covered, an essential fatty acid, helping with hormone production, regular function of your cells. And there's all kinds of different supplements that can help with various phases of the cycle and hormonal balance. So I'm not going to give you specific supplements because they're going to be based on each person and what that person needs. So it's not like, oh, my inositol is great for everyone across the board. Know that there's lots of different supplements that can be beneficial. Another tool that can be used is going to be herbs. Herbs are really cool, and they're one of my main go-tos when it comes to hormonal health, because there's different categories of herbs, and you want to kind of make sure that you are using something in each of these categories if you are working on hormonal health and hormonal support. So the first is going to be a liver supporting herb. Should be a part of, I think, anyone's health program, regardless if they're wanting to work on hormonal health, but liver supporting herbs. So as I spoke about before, liver supporting herbs help the liver in its function, its normal function. This is just what the liver does. Helps the body to get rid of excess hormones, helps the body to get rid of toxins, those types of things. So when you support the liver in its function, it can do its job the best that it can. Not a huge mystery. It's just one of the things that liver does. So when someone's experiencing breakouts as an adult, someone's experiencing moodiness, PMS, digestive issues, all these different things, I always make sure to include the liver in that whenever I'm putting together something. The next is going to be adaptogenic herbs. So these are herbs that are going to support overall systems of the body. I personally love adaptogenic herbs because they help, they can be taken long-term. They are very similar to a food, but obviously a little bit more potent. They have a lot of great benefits like energy, increased libido, for some people, weight loss. You get all these benefits because it's a general supportive herb. It's helping to support a system. So you're getting lots of different benefits besides kind of what your goal is. So I like to always make sure to include an adaptogenic herb when working on hormonal balance and hormonal health so that the endocrine system is being nourished. Some examples of adaptogenic herbs are going to be like ashwagandha, shatavari, maca, ginseng, rhodiola. Rhodiola is kind of strong one. I don't use that one. Very broad range because it can be a little stimulating for people. But those are all examples of adaptogenic herbs that are great for the endocrine system. There's a lot of other ones, but those ones I like to always include so that we've got specific support, which we'll talk about in just a second, but we've got this whole system support as well. And then the next area of herbs that I like to use are either endocrine supportive herbs that are a little bit more specific, or hormones specific herbs. So these herbs are going to be more like tribulus, Vitex, white peony, and so on. So all of these herbs have a little bit more specific of an action. They're not so adaptogenic and broad in their action. They have very specific purposes. Not as specific as medications, mind you, because they are whole herbs and they are still supporting the body into its action. But so for instance, like Vitex has a very specific effect on the pituitary gland. It has a direct effect on prolactin levels, on progesterone levels, all of these different things. But Vitex does not contain hormones in it. It's going to support the system. It's going to support the body and its actions. So when you're using it, you start to see these changes, but not because there's actually progesterone in it or whatever is the case, the reason that you might be using Vitex to support yourself. So that's just an example of one of those herbs. So that's how I look at it. I always make sure to include something to support liver. I always make sure to include some type of adaptogenic support because our nervous systems need it, our bodies need it. And then I look at the specific herbs. Now, herbs are going to be different based on what's going on with the body. Some women are going to need support when it comes to ovulation, testosterone support, and so on, whereas other women might need help with low levels. So that's why it's there's different herbs for different things. The next tool that I love to use is I absolutely love to use essential oils. Essential oils are going to come in when it comes to hormonal balance. They're going to be fantastic for libido. They're going to be great for helping with the emotional side of the fertility journey. But I've just seen wonderful results with essential oils when it comes to anything to do kind of with estrogen, helping with balancing excess, helping to support too low of, and then also increasing libido, working on the emotions, and they work pretty quickly. That's one of the great things about essential oils. Another tool that's great, and this is obviously not for everyone, but progesterone cream. Progesterone cream is a wonderful tool for hormonal health. It does need to be used properly. I have worked with way too many people that are using it all month long. It's something you want to use after ovulation, has definitely been confirmed because progesterone cream can suppress ovulation. So I was speaking with a friend of mine who was like, we've been trying for over a year. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? So I started asking her some questions. I was like, what supplements are you taking? What you doing? And she's like, I've been on progesterone cream. I'm like, okay, how are you using the progesterone cream? She's like, I use it every single day. I've been using it for 3 months straight. And I was like, you're using it every single day? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, this is how you're supposed to use progesterone cream after ovulation. It's really good to be tracking, your cycle so you know when you've ovulated and then you begin the cream, right? So she switched to doing that, and 2 months later she was pregnant. Yeah, something as simple as that. I know it's not that simple for everyone, but she was using the cream wrong. So don't use progesterone cream wrong. The other thing is progesterone cream isn't my first go-to either. I do like to support the overall system and make sure that the system is being supported so that the body's producing its own. And another note is if you are using progesterone cream, when you become pregnant, let your doctor know right away so they can start to monitor your levels, because at a certain point you're going to have to get off that cream. The body will produce way more than you could ever get in a cream, but you want to make sure your levels are going up. So have great communication with your midwife. Have great communication with your doctor so that they can monitor you. And if they're not giving you the correct support and they act like you're crazy witch lady for talking about progesterone and they act like it doesn't exist, please find another practitioner. There are plenty that will support you in a great way. Another tool is to make sure you have something in the department of stress management. Stress has such a big effect on your hormonal health. It really does. When it comes to like FSH levels, when it comes to producing enough hormones, when it comes to excess hormones, there's always a stress factor at play. So make sure to have some type of, have that box checked on your list as part of your program and what you're doing. And stress management is probably the most enjoyable of all of these therapies that you're going to be using. I mean, taking hot baths, taking long walks, watching Christmas romance movies. 'Tis the season. Let me know in the comments if that's you. I definitely like my holiday romance. I don't know what it is. It's like about cheesy holiday romance movies, but I don't know, something about it. Let me know your favorite one so I can maybe watch a new one. Okay, so the next one, speaking of romance, is increasing circulation. So increasing circulation is going to help with the feedback loop between all of the glands in your endocrine system to have better communication. So there's just very intricate cascade of events happening when it comes to hormones and hormonal health. One hormone's released to communicate to another one to release hormones. So all these things have to happen in a row. In order for progesterone to even be produced, another hormone has to trigger something to have. It's extremely complex, and making sure that communication loop is healthy is going to be great. And I found that increasing circulation and having healthy circulation actually does have an impact on that. A couple of ways to do that: making sure you're exercising, yoga, stretching, self-fertility massage, castor oil packs, that kind of thing to increase circulation. And that's just great for egg health, so many other things. The next is going to be good sleep. So having healthy sleep is important for being able to ovulate regularly and having good hormone production. Sleep makes a really big difference. It also makes a difference when it comes to weight loss. Just do some research on that, on the hormones that help with letting your body know you're hungry and that you're satiated and fed actually have a link to the amount of sleep that you're getting. And then the last is going to be yoga and exercise. These are going to just be great for balancing your overall system, helping your blood to flow, helping to move the old lymph, rid of old toxins, all that kind of stuff. So an overall healthy lifestyle are going to be some of your main tools. But fertility cleansing, eating a diet that is going to have all the nutrients you need for healthy hormone production, fertility charting, so you know what's going on, what's working. It's a great way to kind of see like, okay, I'm starting on these herbs, I'm starting on this program. Let me see the changes that happen. Now, a couple of notes when you do start taking steps to help support your hormones. couple things might happen. There's 3 different things that I see that happen with people. The first is they don't feel anything. They're like, is anything happening? I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Some people think they're going to feel, if they think stuff's going to come out of their body, you know. So some people, they're just like, I don't know if it's working, so I don't feel anything. So that's one group of people. The other group of people are the ones who are like, why are my breasts sore? Why am I spotting? Why do I all of a sudden have cramps? Why is my cycle shorter? Why is my cycle longer than it was before? All these things start happening that are hormonally linked, right? So that can happen as well. What's happening when that happens is your receptor sites are being stimulated. Your hormonal receptor sites are being stimulated and they are being reactive. So when you start using something, say you're starting to use Vitex, or you're starting to take steps for helping with your estrogen dominance or whatever it is, the receptor sites wake up for all of the hormones and you get all of these different types of reactions. So if you are using something to help increase progesterone, but you're feeling like more estrogenic, like all of a sudden you have all these other types of things, it's actually pretty normal and it generally will balance out and become settled by the next cycle. So know that it's actually really normal. And all of a sudden spotting or all of a sudden having sore breasts one day, receptor sites are waking up. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So that does happen. And it can be common. Mood swings can happen, all those kinds of things. This happens because of hormonal changes and shifts that are going on. Okay. And then there's the third group who will start on something and the next day their lives are completely changed and they feel so much better. And that's all they had to go through. So someone might end up having sore breasts and they, start on some of these things and it's like the next day it's gone, or the migraines, or, whatever these, kind of hormonal imbalance, how it's showing up in your life. So no, those are the 3 ways. And I know that's kind of like every way is how that shows up, but just know you may not feel anything, or you may feel like everything's going wrong and crazy and backwards, or feel relief right away. So all of those are signs that it is working. And know that making changes to your hormonal cycle and hormonal health takes time. Like you're going to feel a lot of things, you'll feel better right away, like within a couple of days even. But for those lasting changes or those lasting results that eventually end up in healthy uterine lining, that eventually end up in regular ovulation, healthy progesterone estrogen ratios, fill in the blank, right? All of that does take time. So it's not like you're going to be using maca or fill in, A, B, or C. I don't want to say any specific herb because it's different for everyone. And like tomorrow you're done. Like all you have to do is 1 bottle. Know that it does take some time for those changes, depending on how long you've had that hormonal issue and all the factors at play. I know some of you have like layers of issues. You're experiencing multiple things. A lot of the things that we focus on and that we're talking about here will affect all of those. So that's why I like kind of a broad approach and using holistic natural therapies, is because they're going to support the system. And a lot of those things that are showing up from the different areas will all change from those same actions. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, so that is my talk on tools for hormonal health. I hope you found that helpful. I hope you feel empowered, educated, and supported. There is so much more to this topic. If you like more specific information, you can go to naturalfertilityinfo.com, do a search for what's going on with you. There are guides there. There are studies showing, what's worked, what to focus on, things to avoid, all of that. We're totally here to help you. But I hope this helped to get you going in the right direction to support your hormonal health. So I'm going to go ahead and answer. I see a bunch of questions coming through. Someone's asking about PCOS nutrition. I have a whole series of videos about that on YouTube and Instagram. If you want to check those out, if you're not able to find them, you can message us and we'll get you the links. But I have a whole series going into specific nutrition for PCOS. Diamond is asking, I have PCOS and been on my cycle for a month. Anything to help with that? Again, the whole series I have on PCOS, starting with diet, then using supportive herbs for that. PCOS is very specific on ways to support it hormonally that is different than a lot of the other fertility issues. Bright is asking as if it's normal to have cramps that last for 3 days. If you have a really bad period, some people do, but it does not have to be normal. That is not something you have to live with for your whole life. That's not, this is what my period is. No, you don't have to live with that. Someone's asking about getting cramps on the last day of their period. What does that mean and how to help that? So Octavia, cramps are the body's way of getting rid of everything that's in the uterus. The uterine lining that was not used that cycle for implantation, the body releases prostaglandins that make the uterus clamp down and cramp down, and then that helps to shed the uterine lining. So if that's happening, then the body's still trying to get some of that stuff out. Maybe try to do some things to help increase circulation, to help the body to get things moving. Make sure you're drinking enough water, making sure you're moving around enough. That's something that can be considered. Can progesterone be taken during the whole pregnancy? So the thing with progesterone cream in pregnancy is there's a certain point. So progesterone cream, the daily usage is 40 milligrams. Once you're pregnant, you're going to be producing so much, like if you are producing enough progesterone, you're going to be producing so much progesterone that you would have to use like one bottle in a day. So that's why I always say, once you're pregnant, you need to talk with your midwife or you need to talk with your doctor so that they can monitor your progesterone so that it's increasing in the way that it should. And if it's not, you're going to have to probably use something much stronger so that they're able to have an impact on those levels, because cream can only go so far. It's great for that period of time of preconception, early pregnancy, but there's a certain point you'll need something much stronger if low progesterone is something that follows you into pregnancy, and you'll only know through testing. And it's very important, because if your progesterone gets low, the uterine lining, progesterone is progestation. It's something that maintains a pregnancy. So progesterone levels are extremely important. Not to freak you guys out, but if you do have low progesterone, take it seriously. Talk with your practitioner. Okay, lots of very tough questions over there that I can't just talk about right now. So thank you guys so much for all of the awesome questions you've had over the last couple of days. Someone's asking that their reproductive endocrinologist has never heard of Vitex. Vitex is an herb. So doctors are trained in medications for the most part. Them not hearing about Vitex makes sense because it's an herb. It's not something that they would be prescribing. Mallory's laughing at my holiday romance movies. Am I the only one? You guys are leaving me hanging here. I'm the only one who likes holiday romance movies. How long does it take for Vitex to work? It takes a little while. I would say at least 3 to 6 months before you're judging if it's the herb for you or not. It takes a while. But if you understand what's happening in the cascade of hormonal events, you would be like, okay, that's why it takes so long. Ways to increase luteal phase. I'm assuming that's what you mean by LP. Vitamin B6, seed cycling, anything else. So one of my favorite go-tos for increasing luteal phase is to do something called drop cycle method, which is using reflexology, acupressure, and essential oils, as well as Vitex is known to be wonderful for helping with luteal phase. Also trying to figure out if you might have a possible progesterone issue. That definitely can be a factor. Someone's asking, can I book a consultation with you specifically and how? I personally don't do consultations because my schedule is absolutely way too busy, but we do have herbalists on staff that do consultations. So what a consultation consists of is a very in-depth intake form, and you have a place where you can ask your specific questions and voice your specific concerns, and then a program is made for you that is a 3-month program with information on why, how, nutrition, all those different things. You can find out more information about that at naturalfertilityshop.com if you are interested. Do period cramps get worse when you get older? I don't know. I think everybody, it's not like a known thing. Oh, you get older, cramps get worse. I don't think so. I think it's an individual basis that doesn't have anything to do with age for once, right? Oh, yay, we have a Hallmark romance Christmas movie lover. My favorite time of year. Perfect. Don't leave me hanging. Jeez, people. Trying to conceive during the festive period. Is it okay to treat ourselves to cheeky foods and drinks that aren't the usual? Yes, you're human beings. The only thing is to, like, when it's over, stop. Something that I find, like, one of the reasons I personally have to be so strict is the second I start down the cookie lane or that direction, it's so hard for me to stop. I'm completely addicted to sugar. That's why I'm personally so strict about sugar. But that does not, it's Christmas time. You can, enjoy yourselves, but don't go crazy and get back on after you're done. Okay, perfect. Someone's asking, I'm 37 and I want to have a baby, but I'm already having hot flashes. Please help me what to do. So a couple different things. The first is to get your hormones tested. You could just, hot flashes actually happen because of hormonal fluctuations. Does not mean you're in menopause. If you have low hormones that are too low, like low estrogen, you could be having hot flashes, but you could still be in your fertile time of your life. Just get some hormone testing done to figure out what's going on. It's better to do that and not waste time than to kind of guess. Is it okay to take honey instead of sugar? So as someone who actually owns a honey candy company, I love honey, but honey is still a form of sugar. It's still very concentrated form of sugar. So you would want to use things such as stevia, monk fruit. There's a lot of great alternatives that are available now that give that sweet sensation and taste and satisfaction, but are not having an effect on your blood sugar levels. Hey, Mary, you love Hallmark Channel too? It's my grandma's fault. She's the one who got me started on it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will be doing a Fertility Friday Q&A tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So if you guys want to jump on there, hang out, talk more about fertility, ask questions, I will be here for you. And if you have not watched a Hallmark or a holiday Christmas romance, give it a try. You never know. Might help. Have a good one.